All right, now it's time for us to present the Washington Metro High School Coach of the Year. And Chris DeZebra is going to present this award, and we're going to get to now 3 outstanding coaches. Chris, it's your time, my friend.
Good evening. First of all, I had absolutely no nerves about making this speech until Trace McSorley got the biggest round of applause for saying he was going to keep it short. So kudos to you, Trace. He's a heck of a player, and certainly glad that we didn't have to play against you, buddy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris DeZebra. I'm an assistant football coach at Centreville High School in Clifton, Virginia. Tonight, I have the honor of presenting the 2013 DC Touchdown Club High School Coach of the Year Award to my boss and my buddy, Chris Haddock. Before I do that, I do want to say a couple things. I promise I'll be as brief as I can. I made the same promise to Josh Barr as I came through the door. I was a little worried. I saw him sitting down here like the guy at the Apollo with the hook ready to pull me off. So I was a little concerned about that, but it looks like I'm in the clear. First, I want to thank the DC Touchdown Club and Carmine's as well for putting on this fantastic event. Anybody who's familiar with the Touchdown Club knows exactly what kind of a first-class organization this is. And as a person of Italian-American ancestry, I certainly appreciate the choice of cuisine this evening. And so the opportunity to speak to you tonight is of great personal significance to me. Okay, I'm a native Washingtonian. I'm a D.C. kid. I grew up in a Maryland suburb here of Washington, D.C. And this evening, I'm sharing the table with some very esteemed gentlemen. Coach Fagan, Coach Stewart, and Coach Gallagher are legends in our game. And it's a huge privilege for me to speak here on the same night that they're being honored. All of these gentlemen have been great ambassadors to our game for a long time. DC football has exploded exponentially in the last couple decades, and those gentlemen have certainly played no small part. They're being honored here this evening not only for their win totals, which obviously is impressive by any measure, but more so for the professionalism and the class with which each gentleman has conducted himself and the impact that they've had on young people throughout the course of their career. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that. 7 years ago, I walked into a very small office at Fairfax High School to meet with a guy by the name of Chris Haddock, whom I'd never met. I didn't know from Adam. He was at the time the head football coach at Fairfax. And as I said, the only interaction I had with him to that point was a very brief phone conversation to set up our interview. And upon meeting Chris, it was very evident to me right away that the guy on the opposite side of the desk from me, he and I shared many of the same beliefs and values and philosophies on how to build and maintain a successful football program, both on and off the field. So from that initial conversation, I knew that I'd landed in a good place with a head coach whom I could trust and from whom I could learn a great deal, and I certainly have learned a great deal from him. Now, that certainly doesn't mean that we always see eye to eye. I'm a former quarterback. Chris, I like to see the ball in the air as much as possible. Chris, at his heart, is a defensive guy whose offensive philosophy probably at the time fell somewhere between Buddy Ryan and Amos Alonzo Stagg. But with some constant nagging and prodding over the years, we finally managed to bring him into the 1980s as far as offensive schematics are concerned. We've also had some entertaining conversations, I'll call them, over the headsets over the years. In the words of the immortal Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. Let's just say I certainly hope the guy who did the Miami Dolphins report doesn't have any spare time on his hands. I'm kidding, obviously. I do remember one instance in my very first game with Chris, the first game I ever coached with him, and I was up in the box and we were called for a face mask. And I said, well, Coach, is it 5 or 15? And immediately he starts saying, Coach, what are you talking about? This is high school. This is not the NFL. Why would you ask me a question like that? So he goes on for 35 or 40 seconds while the referees are figuring out what to do. Imagine that. So imagine my delight, which could probably be more aptly described as restrained jubilation, when the referee went to midfield and gave the 5-yard face mask sign, which was followed by about 10 seconds of silence and a sorry, Zeb. And so we moved on from there. Let's see, excuse me 1 second. In Coach's defense, they had just changed the rule that year. In all seriousness, Coach Haddock's record speaks for itself. In 2007, he inherited a football program at Fairfax High School that had won a combined 3 games over the 2 seasons prior to our arrival, and hadn't had a winning season in a decade. Under Chris's leadership, we improved our win total by a factor of 2 games each year during our 3-year tenure. We finished with a 6-4 record and made the playoffs in 2009, which was the first time Fairfax had made the playoffs in about 10 years. Following our success at Fairfax, Chris was hired to revive the football program at Centreville, a traditional power in Northern Virginia, and very much like our time at Fairfax, he was once again faced with the challenge of reversing the fortunes of a program that had fallen on hard times. And once again, under his stewardship, we were able to turn around things pretty quickly. Our first year in 2010, we finished 9-3, and amazingly, the following year we were 13-2 and played for our first state championship. Unfortunately, we did not win, but it was a heck of an honor to be there. In 4 years under Coach Haddock at Centreville, we own a record of 45-9, 1 Concord District Championship, 2 Northern Region Championships, and 2 state final appearances, the most recent of which culminated this past December in the 2013 AAA Group 6 Virginia State Championship, #1 ranking in the state of Virginia, #1 ranking in the Washington Post, and a number 14 ranking nationally by USA Today. I could certainly, yeah, sure, give me the applause, let's hear it. I don't see Josh with his hook yet, so I guess I'm all right. I could go on for days citing statistics and figures that would illuminate the on-field success that we've had at Centreville, but the crowning achievement of our program, and which starts at the very, very top with Coach Haddock, is that he's built a successful program in which character and ethics are of the utmost importance and really serve as a foundation for everything we do. And that goes from the players to the coaches to the administrators to the boosters and the student body. He's created a wonderful family atmosphere within our program. My dad's on the sideline for every game, his dad's on the sideline, his wife and mother are in the stands, my mom's in the stands, and that goes for all of our other coaches. And it's just really created an environment that it's just made it a lot of fun to do the grind and go out on the field every day and do the work that we need to do. This model has not only proved tried and true in winning football games, it's also been the formula that has helped change the culture of an entire community, and most especially will have a lasting positive effect on the young men with whom we interact with on a daily basis, something of which I know undoubtedly Coach Haddock is most proud of. Over the years, Chris has become somewhat of an older brother to me. I'm thankful for his leadership, his guidance, his mentorship, and of course his big old fat ring that we were able to get this year. That's pretty nice. But in all seriousness, beyond all of that, I'm most thankful for his friendship and the great memories that he and I and the other coaches and players will share for a long, long time. And I certainly, Coach, look forward to hanging around as long as you'll have me to try to add on to some of those memories as we move along here. Anyone who's associated with athletics knows that it takes many moving parts and not just athletics, in any organization. It takes a lot of moving parts to make an organization run successfully. But it doesn't happen unless you've got the right individual at the top pushing the buttons. An individual who knows what to say, when to say it, what to do, when to do it, and most importantly, someone who's going to represent your organization in a first-class manner and someone whom you're going to be proud to be around. At Centreville, there is absolutely no doubt that we have that individual in Chris Haddock, and I certainly couldn't have predicted I'd be here tonight when I walked in that office at Fairfax 7 years ago, but Coach, I'm sure as heck glad I did. And so without further ado, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you the 2013 DC Touchdown Club High School Coach of the Year, my boss, my friend, and my brother, Centreville coach Chris Haddock. Which one is yours? First one right here? There.
I just have one page here, so that's going to, I think, please everybody here. Thanks first off to the Touchdown Club Carmines. This is one of the more humbling experiences that I've ever had in my 21-year coaching career. To be on stage here with all of the very important honorees that are here, professional athletes, again, one of the most humbling experiences of my life. Again, congratulations to all the honorees, the recipients, high school players, coaches, et cetera. It's, again, a great honor. We had a very special year at Centreville High School. We were 15-0. Again, Coach DeZeva mentioned our national ranking, #1 in the Post, et cetera. All great honors. And as he said, there are a lot of moving parts to what goes on in a special season like that. First and foremost, I have to say thank you to all our players. We had a special group. We're going to return a special group, and we feel like they're kind of the backbone and the foundation of what we do. Coaches spend an enormous amount of time trying to build a rapport, a relationship, a respect with their players. And one very quick kind of anecdote about how we're really striving to gain that respect. We're playing in a scrimmage game, and we don't have numbers on our practice jerseys, so we score a long touchdown, and a referee throws a flag, as they do so often, calls our touchdown back. And what in the world is going on? Who's it on? Coach, I don't know. You don't have any numbers on your uniforms. I have no idea. Okay, all right, I can deal with that. So it happens about 3 minutes later. We break a long one off. We score a touchdown, throws the flag, brings it back. What's going on? Who is the flag on? Well, Coach, the best I can do is the right side of your line. You don't have any numbers. I can't help you there. Okay, I understand. So it happens a third time about a quarter later. And I'm about to lose my mind, and I call timeout. I said, okay, guys, listen. I go out to the huddle. I said, the referees aren't going to be able to tell me anything here. So I need to ask you guys. Listen, we've talked about trust and building relationships, bonds, all those things. We sweated through 2-a-days, worked all that. I said, I need to know who was holding on the last play. And 7 kids raised their hand. I said, okay, we're building that trust that we need. But, obviously past the players, I have an incredible coaching staff. They're not just great football guys, but they're great role models. They're great teachers, and that's first and foremost in my mind. We have a great and strong administration at Centreville High School. Help me hire good coaches and good teachers in our building. Support what we do. If the people ahead of us don't have the same goals and aspirations that we do, it's going to be really hard for us to get to where we're going. And our administration believes in what we're doing, and of course they love wearing the ring too, so that makes it a lot easier for their support. But we have a great community. Centreville High School and Clifton, Virginia, they love their football. Obviously here in the Washington metro area, football is an important thing, and it's very important at Centreville High School. My very first game there, I left school a little early, came back to the parking lot. It was about 3 o'clock, 3:30. We don't play till 7:30. And there's probably about 200 people already in the parking lot. They've got their coolers and their grills, and I said, okay, this is a little different deal. And I grabbed one of the administrators. I said, I think I saw somebody out there with a beer in the parking lot. And he said, yeah, the principal will be out there in just a few minutes, so it's okay. And I said, all right, it's a big deal here. I love it. And but again, we've got great administrators that support what we're doing, and like I said, our community is great. They help us raise money. They've got us connected with USA Football and a lot of great organizations that help make our program better. And as has been said many times tonight, that as coaches, we spend an enormous amount of time away from our family, away from our kids, and spend time with, in many cases, more with other kids than our own. And in order to do that, you've got to have great family support. And I have, as Coach DeZeba said earlier, a great family, and most importantly, my best friend and my wife, Heather, who's here tonight. Thank you. She has to sit up in the stands with the armchair quarterbacks and the guys that have been in the parking lot since 3 o'clock, so you know what they're like. And she handles herself with class and dignity and is always there at the end of the game with a kiss and a hug, and at the end of the day, that's as good as it gets. And Heather, honey, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But thank you again to the Touchdown Club. This is a fantastic and great honor. It's great to meet so many, high profile, in my opinion, celebrity people. This is a great venue, a great honor, and thank you all again. Congratulations again to all the honorees. Thank you guys very much.